Hi guys, Greg Fernandez, and I'm coming to you from my home gym here on Easter night. And I had a bunch of thoughts here. Given that Easter is a time of hope for Christians around the world, I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about hope and martial arts and what it can do for you, your children, maybe your whole family, by kind of giving you a personal story of how it's affected me and really how my life was affected before getting into martial arts. Most kids growing up through school, unfortunately, occasionally, you'll get into fights in school. And there were three instances through K to 12 school that really kind of stand out in my mind. The only three fights I got into. I was always the smallest person typically in my class. I'm 145 pounds right now. And it makes it difficult to have that confidence when you're one of the smaller kids in classes. I remember my first fight was in second grade, and just something going on out on the playground, and didn't really think much of it. I think we were playing football or something, and happened to push a guy, and he didn't like it, and kind of got in a fight. And it didn't really go so well. It wasn't a huge altercation, but nonetheless, it certainly put an impression on my mind at a pretty young age as to, it's kind of hard to defend myself, especially being a smaller guy. And maybe also being a little bit shy at that point. The next incident occurred in junior high when I was on our junior high track team. I remember really clearly we were kind of putting away the pole vaulting mats, and there was a guy who was kind of clowning around, and he just was kind of pushing me on the mat and then jumping on me, and I kind of pushed him and hey, come on, man, get off. And right there, he had his fists up and was ready to go, and I'm like, man, what's going on here? And this guy he was on the football team. He was much bigger than me. It was a pretty nerve-wracking experience. And, for a couple weeks in junior high, he kept on threatening, say, hey, the school dance, I'm going to get you and this and that. And turned out, wound up getting in a fight at the end of school dance. Didn't go, again, very well for me. It kind of left another impression on my mind that wasn't very positive. Well, before I got into martial arts, I got into wrestling in high school, and that's really when things kind of changed. I really only got in one fight in high school. It was right after lunch one day. We're standing in the hall waiting for the bell to ring, and next thing I know, I'm like flying through the crowd. Guy came up behind me who we kind of had some talking back and forth going on for maybe a month, and he just shoved me in the back through a crowd of people. I literally probably ran like 15, 20 feet through people. A little bit different this time, though. The confidence with wrestling and getting into a combat sport. There was no shying away this time. I went up, and again, I'm not condoning fighting, but there's a certain point where you may not be able to avoid a confrontation, and you need to be able to stand up for yourself. And that confidence was in me at this point. And honestly, the only reason it didn't kind of brew into a large altercation is I saw my high school wrestling coach walk by right before this happened, and the thing that was going through my mind was, man, I do not want to be doing push-ups for the rest of the month if I get in trouble for a fight. Well, it was a small fight in school and didn't amount to much, but that confidence was there, and there was no backing down. Unfortunately, just in any school setting, these situations can occur. They may start from the most innocent thing. And again, as a smaller individual, it was really difficult for me to handle those before I got involved in first year in wrestling, but now in martial arts. I was saying, there's going to be situations, unfortunately, in school where kids are not going to be able to avoid potentially physical altercation. So what we want to do is help you give your children the opportunity and the ability to defend themselves by coming in and trying out or enrolling in a martial arts program. I wonder what this would have done for me before I had gotten into some of the altercations I got into in elementary and junior high school. I know it would have significantly helped my confidence and given me an opportunity to defend myself. But it's up to you to take that first step. You've got to make the call. You've got to come on in. You've got to bring yourself or your child in. And see if it's right for you. If it's not our program, maybe there's another program. But take that first step, make the call, come on in, and let us help you help yourself. Give us a call at 248-957-9597 or check us out on the web at GracieBajaNovi.com or MMANovi.com. And we look forward to seeing you on the mat. Have a great night.